He is Richard Tice. He's a Deputy Leader of Reform UK and one of their 5 sitting MPs. And he joins us just after that press conference in London today with Nigel Farage announcing that not only have Reform now reached 100,000 members, but also they've seen a defection of Dame Andrea Jenkyns, former Tory minister and MP, to the party. Good afternoon to you, Richard.
Good afternoon. Yes, we're delighted to welcome a former Conservative MP, a former minister, Andrea Jenkyns, who I've known and worked with on Brexit for 7 years, to Reform UK. And she's going to be our mayoral candidate for the mayoral election next May for Greater Lincolnshire. She's
a suitable candidate. I remember when she was Education Minister, she decided once walking into Downing Street when journalists were calling out to her to put 2 fingers up to them.
She'll be a fantastic candidate. She is very patriotic. She believes in Brexit. She believes in the great opportunities of this country. And I think she's spent much of her life growing up and representing county councils in Lincolnshire. So, yeah, she will be a great candidate for us.
Sadly, not an actual MP. You're still on 5 MPs. You've seen other defections. We've seen people from local parties, councillors. We've seen some people from Conservative central office. But we know that at least one of your former sort of leading lights very unhappy about these defections from the Tories. Ben Habib, who used to be in the job you're in now as Deputy Leader, he has said in the last few months that he has quit the party. He's concerned about the policies on Northern Ireland. He says that Nigel Farage is apathetic to the issue of the demographic changes in this country from mass immigration. He wants deportations as policy. He also says your party's not a democratic party. It's still technically a limited company entirely owned and controlled by Nigel Farage and not a democratic political party. What do you say to that?
Well, that's the joy of free speech and democracy. Ben's entitled to his view, but his view is clearly not shared by the tens of thousands of people who are joining Reform. We actually had a vote at the conference to change the constitution, so that's going through with the Electoral Commission so that it is a fully membership-owned company limited by guarantee. So look, all of that change is happening. People are voting with their feet. We're getting great results in by-elections every Thursday. We won 2 just last week in Kent. We got great results in Scotland. So look, we're making huge progress. And the fact that we've now got former Tory MPs defecting to us and wanting to stand for us is a very significant factor. And you look at these immigration numbers.
Well, I wanted to come to that, yes.
Well, let's just come to that, because there is a massive misrepresentation of the reality. The reality is that these immigrations have gone up, not down, from the numbers we were told a year ago. A year ago, may I just remind you, we were told that net immigration was 672,000 to the year to June 23. Actually, they quietly, without telling us, Julia, increased the number, revised upwards to 906,000. Yeah. Almost 1 million people net amongst friends. So what various people are sort of pontificating as a fall, actually, by almost 250,000 people, they increased the number last year.
And the particular concern a lot of us will have, and we've had this, we've had these numbers readjusted again and again, and the ONS has admitted it significantly understated immigration numbers. Its new figure is 1.3 million in terms of the actual number of people coming into the country. 866,000 net, not 685,000 net, as previously said. But it is quite extraordinary that they don't know how many people have come to the country, because I don't know about you, when I come into this country and I'm a British citizen, I have to actually show my passport. It gets scanned. There's a record of me returning to the country. When I have to go to another country, they scan my passport. People who come to this country have to fill out immigration forms. People who've got a legal right to be here, a visa, they have to fill out these forms. Surely the Home Office should know exactly who is in the country every single day of the year.
It's a pretty basic thing. Yeah, check people coming in and check people going out. And just to put that huge upward revision in context, it's about a 35% increase in the net number that the ONS have put out there. And as I say, everybody is completely misrepresenting the reality of what's gone on here. They've tried to hide the increase. I think we can basically assume they've really got not much of an idea. It's a guesstimate, but it's a massive number, and you can genuinely sense it and feel it in towns and cities up and down the country. it just feels more crowded. The tubes, the trains, the roads feel more crowded. There's at least 1 million people net every year coming to this country. It's an increase in our population net by about 2.5% in the last 2 years alone. It's no surprise. You can't see a GP. You can't get a hospital appointment. Housing rents are surging. Nothing works. And guess what? Sadly, we're all getting poorer as a result.
Well, this is it. And now, Kemi Badenoch, the new leader of the Conservative Party, she's saying that we need to stop being so squeamish about talking about the cultural and the economic impacts of immigration. We've been told for years, and I know you and I too, the people have been saying we don't believe this is true, that there's a massive economic benefit to mass immigration. I mean, if there was, we would be doing a lot better now. We've had 20 years of mass immigration. You're one of the people, along with your boss, Nigel Farage, who's not been squeamish about talking about immigration. Why do you think the Tories have suddenly woken up to this issue? And do you think that they're actually likely to do anything about it? Your own leader said today the Tories did a terrible job, but he thinks Labour are going to be worse, by the way.
Well, I think just focus on people's track record. And the Tories, for election after election, said they were going to bring the immigration numbers down to the tens of thousands. And they deliberately, actively did exactly the opposite, created a pure open border policy to mass, cheap, low-skilled immigration that has suppressed British wages, reduced the quality of life, and made us all poor. So, no, I don't think anybody will trust the Conservatives under Kemi Badenoch. This is a lady who stood up in the House of Commons and celebrated the fact that immigration numbers had gone up a few years ago. So I don't think they'll trust them. And what we're saying to the British people is the only party you can trust to get down to net zero immigration, that's the only net zero we should have in this country, by the way, is Reform UK.
Just finally, I know you need to go, but just finally, what do you make of Ben Habib? You say the predecessor in your job as deputy leader of the party now left the party. He says he supports mass deportations in this country. Shouldn't we want to follow Donald Trump? And basically, if someone's not here legally, not just channel boat migrants, but actually the 1 million plus people who are here, who came here legally but overstayed their visa or have no right to work, they came on a tourist visa, should we not be deporting those people if they've no right to be here?
Completely. We cannot accept people who are here illegally, and they must be deported, as historically they used to be. 20 years ago, we were deporting 40,000 people a year who were here illegally. So, yes, of course, those who are not here by legal methods need to be returned from where they came. They need to be deported. I know some people might get squeamish about the language, but actually that's the language that people up and down the country understand and recognise. And I think that's what the majority of the British people want to have. We want smart, lawful immigration, highly skilled, highly qualified, that can add genuine value to our country, that want to work here, integrate here, and, by the way, speak the lingo. Generally helps.
Richard Tice, MP, Deputy Leader for Reform UK, thank you for joining us.